The council chamber floated in the darkness of space, held between two bright stars. Inside, creatures from 200 different worlds sat in their seats, talking and laughing. Some had scales, others had fur, some breathed oxygen, others needed methane tanks. But they all had one thing in common. They all looked down on humanity. Ambassador Hana Lee walked through the massive doors with her head held high. Behind her came Captain Jinwoo Han, his military uniform neat and perfect. Director Yuna Park followed last, her eyes watching everything. The three humans looked small compared to the aliens around them, but they walked with dignity. 50 years. That was how long Earth had waited for this day. 50 years of following every rule. 50 years of paying fees and accepting limits. 50 years of being treated like children who needed supervision. Today was supposed to be different. Today, Earth would finally ask for full membership. Hana stepped up to the speaker's platform. The noise in the chamber died down slowly. Some aliens kept talking, not caring that a human was about to speak. She noticed but said nothing. Her speech was already loaded into her datapad. "Honored council members," Hana began, her voice clear and strong, "Earth comes before you today with respect and hope. For 50 years we have proven ourselves. We have sent peacekeepers to stop wars. We have sent doctors to heal the sick. We have shared our technology freely. We have followed every law and paid every fee." She paused and looked around the room. Hundreds of alien eyes stared back at her. Some looked bored, some looked amused. None looked impressed. "We ask now for what we have earned," Hana continued. "Full voting rights in this council, the removal of trade restrictions that hold our people back, the chance to stand as equals among the stars." Behind her, Jinwoo stood perfectly still, but his hands gripped his datapad tighter, his jaw clenched. He had fought in 3 wars for this council. He had saved alien lives. He had bled for them. And now they looked at Hana like she was a child asking for candy. Director Yuna typed quietly on her device. To anyone watching, she was taking notes. In reality, she was recording everything, every face, every reaction, every whisper. The intelligence network she had built over decades was watching too. Cameras hidden in 1,000 places captured it all. When Hana finished her speech, silence filled the room for 3 seconds. Then it started. A small laugh from the left side, then another, then more. Within moments, the entire chamber echoed with laughter. Councillor Vrex stood up, his reptilian face twisted into what might have been a smile. His scales caught the light as he moved to the center platform. "The humans want to be equals," Vrex said, his voice dripping with mockery. "How amusing. Tell me, Ambassador, do children become adults simply by asking? Does 50 years of obedience erase millions of years of evolution?" More laughter. Hana's face remained calm, but her fists clenched at her sides. High Chancellor Morth clicked forward on 6 legs. His insect eyes reflected the lights like tiny mirrors. "Earth brings up their peacekeepers. Yes, we have seen them. Playing soldier with weapons we gave them. Earth mentions their doctors. Using medical knowledge we taught them. Earth talks of technology sharing. They mean the scraps we allowed them to study." The chamber erupted in agreement. Alien voices mixed together in a wave of sound. "Violent children," one voice called out. "Primitive mammals," said another. "They still fight wars among themselves," a third added. Hana took a deep breath. She started to speak again, but Vrex raised his clawed hand. "Enough," Vrex declared. "This council has heard Earth's request. Now we shall vote. I propose that Earth's probationary status be extended for another 100 years. Furthermore, I propose new conditions. Earth shall surrender half of their military vessels to council oversight. Earth shall accept monitoring stations within their home system. Earth shall double their protection fees." "That's not fair," Hana said, her voice rising for the first time. "We've done everything you asked." "Fair?" Morth's laugh sounded like clicking metal. You speak of fairness? Your species barely left your planet when we found you. You were killing each other over resources. You poisoned your own world. We saved you. We gave you the stars. And now you demand fairness? Vrex called for the vote. Lights appeared in the air. Green for yes, red for no, yellow for abstain. The results came fast. Green lights filled the chamber like stars. 197 green lights. 3 yellow lights from smaller species who feared to vote either way. 0 red lights. Hana closed her eyes for just a moment. 50 years. All for nothing. The motion passes, Vrex announced. Earth shall remain under probation. The new restrictions shall take effect immediately. This council is adjourned. The aliens began to file out, still laughing and talking among themselves. Some patted each other on the back. Others made jokes about humans. None of them noticed the 3 people standing completely still on the platform. Jinwoo finally moved. He walked up beside Hana and put a hand on her shoulder. It's done then, he said quietly. Yes, Hana replied. Her voice was soft but steady. It's done. Yuna joined them. Her fingers stopped typing. I recorded everything, every word, every laugh, every vote. Good, Hana said. She looked at her 2 companions. They made their choice. Now we make ours. The 3 humans walked out of the chamber together. They passed aliens who didn't even glance at them. They were invisible, unimportant, beneath notice. None of the aliens saw the small smile on Yuna's face. None of them noticed the way Jinwoo's eyes had turned cold and hard. None of them paid attention when Hana tapped a single code into her datapad. Far away, across 50 star systems, other humans received a message. Just 3 words on their secure channels. 3 words that had been prepared for 40 years. They said no. In the darkness beyond Neptune, ships that were never supposed to exist powered up their engines. On Mars, in hidden facilities, scientists activated protocols that had waited decades. On Earth itself, in rooms far underground, military officers opened sealed orders. The Council had laughed at Earth. They had mocked humanity's request for dignity. They thought humans were weak and dependent. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Hana looked back at the council chamber one last time before the doors closed. 50 years, she whispered. We gave you 50 years to do the right thing. Jinwoo nodded. Now we do what we should have done from the beginning. We leave, Yuna finished. The 3 humans boarded their ship. Behind them, the council celebrated their victory. They had put the humans in their place. They had reminded them who ruled the galaxy. None of them knew that the galaxy was about to change forever. None of them understood that they had just made the worst mistake in their civilization's history. They had mocked Earth at the council. And humanity would never forget. The ship carrying Hana, Jinwoo, and Yuna made the jump back to Earth in silence. None of them spoke. They didn't need to. They all knew what came next. When they landed in Geneva, news crews waited at the spaceport. Hana stepped out and gave them a smile that didn't reach her eyes. She read a prepared statement about continuing dialogue and hoping for future understanding. The reporters ate it up. The public would see a disappointed but hopeful ambassador. They wouldn't see what happened 2 hours later in a room 500 meters underground. The Global Command Center looked nothing like its public face. No windows, no decorations, just screens, computers, and serious faces. Every continent had representatives here, every branch of military and government. They all turned when Hana walked in. Tell them, said Counselor Nari Shin, Earth's internal council leader. She was an old woman now, nearly 90. She had been preparing for this moment for most of her life. Hana didn't sit down. She stood at the head of the table and said simply, They laughed. They voted to extend our probation for another century. They want half our military fleet and monitoring stations in our own system. The room erupted. Angry voices, fists on tables, curses in 20 different languages. Enough, said a quiet voice. Everyone fell silent. Fleet Admiral Taiyang Kim stood up from his seat. He was a tall man with gray hair and eyes that had seen too much war. We gave them their chance. We waited 50 years. We followed their rules, and they spat in our faces. He turned to face the massive screen on the wall. Activate Protocol Exodus. The screen lit up. Numbers and coordinates filled the display. Ships, weapons, facilities, resources. Things that weren't supposed to exist. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. Dr. Soman Choi stepped through it from her lab on the dark side of the moon. She looked young for her age, thanks to treatments that Earth had developed in secret. Treatments the Council didn't know about. 40 years, Dr. Somin said without greeting. 40 years we've been building, planning, preparing. While they thought we were using their technology, we were learning from it, improving it, making it ours. She waved her hand and the hologram changed. Ship designs appeared. Not the clunky vessels the Council knew about. Sleek, fast, deadly. The Ghost Fleet, Dr. Somin continued. 3,000 ships hidden throughout the solar system and beyond. Every one of them invisible to Council sensors. Every one of them crewed by volunteers who have lived in secret for decades. Jinwoo felt his heart beat faster. He knew about the Ghost Fleet. He had flown for them before taking his public role. He knew the sacrifice those crews had made, living in silence, missing births and weddings and funerals, all to keep Earth safe. Our fusion reactors? Dr. Soman smiled. Actually antimatter generators. We just let them think we were decades behind. Our computing systems? 3 times faster than anything the Council has. Our weapons? Well, let's just say we learned to make them work better than their original designers. Another figure appeared on screen. General Min-Ho Kang broadcast from somewhere in the asteroid belt. His face was weathered and scarred. He had commanded the Ghost Fleet since its creation. "We're ready," Min-Ho said simply. "Every ship, every station, every pilot. We've been ready for 10 years, just waiting for the word." Counselor Nari stood up slowly. She was the voice of caution, the one who always urged patience. "Once we do this, there's no going back. The Council will see it as an act of war." "Let them," said Yuna. She had been quiet until now, but her voice was ice. "My intelligence network has been feeding them false information for decades. They think they know where our military bases are. They're wrong. They think they know our ship counts. They're wrong. They think we're dependent on them for rare materials. We haven't been for 20 years. Hana walked around the table, looking at each face. These were the people who truly led Earth, not the public officials, not the celebrities. These quiet men and women who had worked in shadow to keep humanity free. "I want to give them one more chance," Hana said. "One final opportunity to treat us with respect." Taeyang nodded. 72 hours. We send them an ultimatum. Remove all restrictions on Earth. Grant us full membership. Or we walk away from every treaty, every pact, every agreement we ever made with them. "They'll refuse," Nari said. "I know," Hana replied. "But when history looks back, they need to see that we tried everything, that we gave them every opportunity." The vote was quick, unanimous. Earth would give the Council 3 days to change their mind. But everyone in that room knew what the answer would be. The message went out on secure channels, to the Ghost Fleet hiding in the darkness, to the secret facilities on Mars and Europa and Titan, to the human peacekeepers scattered across 100 worlds, to the doctors and engineers and traders working in alien space. Prepare for extraction. 72 hours. In the Oort cloud, Commander Ara Song read the message twice. Then she turned to her crew. They were good people, young and old, men and women from every nation on Earth. They had given up normal lives to serve in secret. "It's happening," Ara said. Her voice stayed calm even though her heart raced. Check all systems. Make sure every ship in the squadron is ready to move. One of her pilots, a young man named Yoon Park, looked up from his console. Commander, are we really going to fight them? Aura shook her head. We're going to show them what they should have seen all along, that humanity isn't weak, we're just patient. On Mars, deep underground, tech specialist Jihan Oh ran diagnostics on the Cascade Protocol. It was beautiful in its simplicity. Every piece of technology Earth had helped build. Every system humans had repaired or maintained. Every network humans had improved. All of it had a kill switch. All of it would stop working when Jihan activated the protocol. The aliens thought they had given humanity technology. The truth was simpler and more terrifying. Humanity had become essential to their infrastructure, and they had never even noticed. Jihan's fingers hovered over the activation key. Not yet. 72 hours. But soon. Back on Earth, Hana stood in her apartment and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Council was probably celebrating their victory. Vrex and Morth and all the others who had laughed. Her personal communicator buzzed. It was Jinwoo. Can't sleep either? His voice asked. No, Hana admitted. I keep thinking about all the humans out there, the ones who will have to leave their lives behind, the families who will be separated. They knew it might come to this, Jinwoo said gently. Every human who volunteered for service outside Earth signed the papers. They understood. I know, it doesn't make it easier. No, but it makes it necessary. Hana ended the call and pulled up the official diplomatic channel. She began typing the ultimatum. Every word mattered. Every phrase had to be perfect. This would be read by historians for centuries. She wrote about dignity, about respect, about the right of every species to determine its own future. She wrote about 50 years of patience and cooperation. About everything Earth had given and how little they had asked for in return. And then she wrote the demand. Simple and clear. Remove the restrictions. Grant full membership, or Earth would withdraw from every agreement. The Council had 72 hours to respond. Hana sent the message and waited. Around the world, millions of humans who knew the truth also waited. In secret bases and hidden ships. In underground facilities and camouflaged stations. They had lived in shadow for decades. They had sacrificed everything to keep Earth free, and now, finally, their time had come. The Council would laugh again. Hana knew that. They would see the ultimatum as an empty threat. They would believe humanity was too dependent to ever leave. They would be wrong. In exactly 72 hours, the galaxy would learn the truth about Earth. And nothing would ever be the same again. The Council's response came after 60 hours, not 72. They didn't even wait for the deadline. Vrex's message was short and dismissive. Earth's threats are noted and rejected. Any attempt to violate Council law will result in immediate sanctions and possible military action. Earth will comply with all directives or face consequences. This matter is closed. Hana read the message 3 times. Then she smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had tried everything and could now act without guilt. Send the response, she told her team. The broadcast went out on every frequency, every channel, every communication system in the galaxy carried it. The Council couldn't block it even if they tried, because humans had built most of those systems. Hana appeared on screens across 200 worlds. She wore a simple black suit. No medals, no decorations, just a human woman speaking calmly. People of the galaxy, she began. For 50 years, Earth has served this Council faithfully. We kept the peace. We healed the sick. We built and maintained and helped. We asked only for respect in return. She paused. Today, the Council has shown us that respect will never come. They see us as servants, not equals, as children, not partners. They have made their choice. Now we make ours. Hana's eyes hardened. Effective immediately, Earth withdraws from every treaty, every pact, every agreement with the Galactic Council. Every human peacekeeper is ordered home. Every human doctor is ordered home. Every human worker, engineer, and trader is ordered home. We are done serving those who refuse to see us as equals. The message ended. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then the galaxy erupted into chaos. On 50 different worlds, human peacekeepers received the recall order simultaneously. They powered down their weapons. They boarded their transports. They left war zones that had depended on them for decades. 3 species who had been at peace only because of human mediators went back to fighting within hours. Borders that humans had patrolled became contested zones. Treaties that humans had enforced fell apart. At the medical stations orbiting Talvos Prime, Dr. Soman's staff began evacuation procedures. Alien patients begged them to stay. A plague that had been contained for 10 years was held back only by human medical teams. Without them, it would spread again. "I'm sorry," one human doctor said to a crying alien child. "We have no choice. Your leaders made this decision, not us." The medical ships undocked and set course for Earth. Behind them, quarantine alarms began to sound. In the commercial sectors, human traders shut down their operations. Markets that had run smoothly for decades suddenly had no coordinators. Financial systems that humans had programmed began showing errors. But the real chaos came from something the Council hadn't expected. Tech specialist Jihan Oh sat in his command center on Mars and activated the Cascade Protocol. His fingers moved across the holographic controls like a pianist playing a familiar song. Across the galaxy, systems began to fail. The Council's military defense grid went dark first. 40% of their warning satellites had been built or maintained by humans. Every one of them had a hidden kill switch. Jihan flipped them all at once. Communication relays that connected the Council worlds began failing. Humans had upgraded them 5 years ago. The upgrades included remote shutdown capabilities. Trade network computers crashed. Banking systems froze. Navigation beacons stopped broadcasting. Supply chain management software threw error codes. Everything humans had touched. Everything they had built or fixed or improved. All of it stopped working at the same moment. On the Council homeworld, Vrex stared at his screens in disbelief. "What is happening?" His aide's voice shook. "Sir, it's the humans. They're destroying everything." "Destroying? How?" "They built it, sir. We gave them the plans to help maintain our systems. We thought they were just following instructions, but they must have added their own code, their own systems, and now they're shutting it all down." High Chancellor Morth's communication came through on emergency channels only. "This is an act of war. Send ships to Earth immediately." But the ships couldn't coordinate. The navigation systems were failing. The communication networks were down. Half the fleet couldn't even talk to the other half. In space, the evacuation of humans was already underway. Ships appeared at every human settlement, but not the simple transports the Council knew about. Ghost fleet vessels decloaked across the galaxy. Commander Ara Song's squadron materialized near a human colony world in the Drex system. The local alien patrol ships immediately moved to intercept. They outnumbered Ara's squadron 3-1. "This is Patrol Commander Drexus," came the transmission. "Unknown vessels, you are in violation of Council space. Power down and prepare to be boarded." Ara opened a channel. "This is Commander Ara Song of Earth's Ghost Fleet. We are here to evacuate our people. You can let us do this peacefully, or we can do it the hard way. Your choice." "Ghost Fleet?" Drexus sounded confused. "Earth has no Ghost Fleet. You're using stolen vessels. We are authorized to use force." "Then use it," Ara said calmly. The alien patrol ships opened fire. Their weapons were good. Council-standard plasma cannons. They should have torn through Ara's ships easily. Instead, the shots curved away. deflected by shield technology the Council didn't know existed. "Our turn," Ara said. Her squadron didn't fire weapons. They didn't need to. Electronic warfare systems reached out and touched the alien ships. Targeting computers went haywire. Engine controls locked. Life support stayed functional, but everything else simply stopped working. The patrol ships drifted helplessly in space. "We could have destroyed you," Ara broadcast to them. "Remember that. We chose not to. Now stay out of our way." The Ghost Fleet ships moved to the colony and began loading civilians. Families who had lived on this world for 20 years packed their lives into cargo containers. Children who had been born here cried as they left the only home they knew. It was happening everywhere, on colony worlds and space stations. In alien cities and orbital platforms, humans were leaving. 50 billion people across 200 worlds, all heading home. Some aliens tried to stop them. Patrol groups, security forces, local militaries. Every single one met the same fate. Their systems failed. Their weapons wouldn't fire. Their ships wouldn't move. The Ghost Fleet didn't destroy them, didn't kill them, just disabled them and moved on. Officer Yoon Park watched his scanner from Ara's flagship. "Commander, we're detecting at least a dozen more patrol groups forming up. They're trying to organize a response." "Let them try," Ara said. "Jihan, are you seeing this?" On Mars, Jihan's voice came through clear. "I see them, sending their fleet coordination codes to your database now. You'll know where they are before they do." The evacuation continued for 3 weeks. Slowly, carefully, but without mercy. Every human came home, every ship, every station, every outpost. The galaxy watched in shock. The Council had believed humanity was scattered, dependent, easy to control. Instead, they saw a species that had planned for this exact moment. A species that had built secret fleets and hidden protocols and backup systems. A species that had lived among them for 50 years while preparing to leave at a moment's notice. The financial markets crashed completely after the first week. Too many human traders gone. Too many human programmers missing. Too many human maintenance workers absent. Plagues spread on 4 worlds, where human medical teams had been the only thing holding them back. Wars reignited on 16 planets, where human peacekeepers had kept the peace. Supply chains broke down. Communication networks failed. Power grids fluctuated. Water treatment plants malfunctioned. All because humans weren't there to maintain them anymore. The Council finally understood. They hadn't been helping Earth. Earth had been helping them. For 50 years, humanity had quietly become essential to galactic civilization. And now, they were gone. Hana watched the evacuation reports from her office on Earth. Millions of humans coming home every day. The Ghost Fleet working tirelessly to bring them back safely. 0 casualties so far. Not a single human killed. Not a single alien killed either, despite dozens of confrontations. Jinwoo stood beside her. "They're calling it the severing, the day Earth cut all ties." "Good," Hana said. "Let them remember it. Let them tell their children about the day they learned what happens when you treat people as less than they are." "The Council is in chaos," Yuna reported from her intelligence center. 23 governments have already fallen. The economic damage is catastrophic. They're begging us to come back." "Let them beg," Hana said quietly. "We begged for 50 years. We asked nicely. We followed their rules. And they laughed at us." She turned to look at Earth, turning slowly below her orbital office. "Now they know. You don't mock Earth and walk away unchanged." 3 weeks after the severing, Earth's solar system looked nothing like it had before. The Ghost Fleet had come home. 3,000 ships that nobody knew existed now orbited openly around their homeworld. But more than that, humanity had activated the Prometheus barrier. Fleet Admiral Taeyang Kim stood on the command deck of the flagship Defiance. Through the windows, he could see the barrier shimmer. energy fields that wrapped around the entire solar system like a glowing web. Nothing could get through without Earth's permission. "Sir," said an officer, "long-range sensors are detecting a massive fleet approaching. Multiple species signatures. Looks like at least 10,000 ships." Tae Yang nodded slowly. "So they finally worked together. How long until they reach the barrier?" 6 hours at current speed." "Good. That gives us time to prepare the welcome party." The coalition fleet was impressive, Tae Yang had to admit. 47 different species had joined together, more cooperation than the Council had seen in a century. Fear was a powerful motivator. Their flagship broadcast a message as they approached. "This is Admiral Koroth of the Unified Response Fleet. Earth has violated galactic law and damaged Council infrastructure. You will surrender your military assets and submit to Council authority. This is your only warning." Captain Jin-Woo Han stood beside Tae Yang. He had been given command of Earth's diplomatic response. "Should I answer them?" "Not yet," Tae Yang said. "Let them see the barrier first." The alien fleet reached the edge of the solar system and stopped. The Prometheus barrier glowed brighter in response to their presence. Scans washed over it from 1,000 sensors. Then Koroth's voice came again, less confident now. "What is this? Our sensors can't penetrate it." Jinwoo opened a channel. "This is Captain Jin-Woo Han of Earth Defense. You are looking at the Prometheus barrier, a defensive system we've been building for 30 years. You may enter peacefully, or you may leave. Those are your only options." "Unacceptable," Koroth replied. "You will deactivate this barrier immediately and surrender." Jinwoo looked at Tae Yang, who nodded. "Very well," Jinwoo said. "You want to see what Earth can do? Let me show you." A single Ghost Fleet destroyer detached from the home fleet. The ship was small compared to the massive alien dreadnoughts. It looked like a child's toy next to Koroth's flagship. "One of our ships versus your flagship," Jinwoo offered. "Non-lethal engagement. If you win, we'll talk about your demands. If we win, you leave and never threaten Earth again." Koroth's laugh echoed across the communication channel. "One destroyer against my dreadnought? This is madness, but I accept. When we crush you, there will be no more questions about who rules this galaxy." The alien flagship moved forward. It was a massive vessel, 3 kilometers long and bristling with weapons. The Ghost Fleet destroyer looked tiny beside it. The engagement lasted 47 seconds. The destroyer moved so fast that alien sensors couldn't track it. It appeared in 3 places at once, using some kind of advanced drive system the Council had never seen. Energy weapons that should have missed hit with perfect accuracy. The destroyer's shields absorbed everything the dreadnought fired. Then the destroyer fired once. A beam of coherent light touched the dreadnought's main power core, not to destroy it, just to disable it. The massive ship went dark. Life support stayed online, but weapons, engines, shields, everything else simply stopped. Koroth's voice came over emergency backup communications. What did you do?" Jinwoo's reply was calm. "We won. Now you know this isn't a bluff. This isn't stolen technology. This is what Earth built while you weren't paying attention." Dr. Somin's face appeared on the communication screens of every ship in the alien fleet. She stood in her laboratory, surrounded by displays showing Earth's true technological level. "You see these FTL drives?" She gestured to a schematic. 300% more efficient than yours. These weapons? They bypass your shield frequencies because we helped design your shields. We know every weakness. These computers? They process data faster than your best AI systems." She pulled up more images. Mining stations that had been operating in secret for decades. Automated factories building ships and weapons. Research stations studying technologies the Council had declared too dangerous to develop. "While you were comfortable and stagnant, we were desperate and innovative," Dr. Somin continued. You gave us scraps and told us to be grateful. We took those scraps and built something better. You thought you were teaching us. We were learning your limits so we could exceed them. The coalition fleet began to fracture. Some ships started pulling back. Officers were arguing over open channels. 23 species withdrew immediately, their ships turning around without another word. 15 more species opened private channels to Earth, requesting separate peace talks. But 9 species held their position. Their commanders were too proud or too angry to back down. "This is your last chance," Jinwoo warned them. "Leave peacefully." "Never," one of the commanders spat. "You are primitives. You will be taught your place." The 9 species fleets moved forward to attack Earth's defensive line. 7,000 ships against 3,000. They thought numbers would matter. They were wrong. Officer Yoon Park sat at his console on one of Earth's defensive platforms. His fingers flew across the controls as he monitored the attacking fleet. "Sir, they're entering weapons range." "Activate Cascade Defense," Taeyang ordered. Every attacking ship suddenly found their systems going haywire. Weapons safety locks engaged. Navigation computers showed false data. Communication systems broadcast their own tactical information to Earth's fleet. Engines stuttered and flickered. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. 7,000 ships rendered helpless without a single shot being fired. The attacking vessels drifted in space, completely disabled. Their crews were safe, their ships intact, but nothing worked. They floated there for 6 hours while their commanders screamed demands and threats over emergency channels. Earth didn't respond, didn't need to. The message was clear enough. Finally, Jinwoo opened a channel. "We could have destroyed you. Every ship, every crew. We have weapons that could have turned your fleet into debris. But we didn't use them. Do you understand why?" Silence from the alien commanders. "Because we're not like you," Jinwoo continued. "You ruled through fear and control. You kept other species down to maintain your power. We're showing you there's a different way. Strength doesn't have to mean cruelty." He paused. "We're releasing your ships now. You can fire your weapons again. You can move. You can fight. But ask yourself, is it worth it? We've disabled you twice without killing anyone. How long do you think you'd last if we actually wanted you dead?" The alien fleet systems came back online. Weapons armed, engines powered up, shields activated. Not a single ship fired. One by one, they turned around and left. Some moved quickly, eager to escape. Others left slowly, as if ashamed. Taeyang watched them go. "How many casualties?" "0, sir," Yoon reported. "Not a single death on either side." "Good, that was the point." Across the galaxy, the message spread. Earth had faced a coalition fleet 10,000 strong. They had won without killing anyone. They had shown power beyond anything the Council possessed, and they had shown mercy. Fear of Earth grew, but so did something else. Respect. Smaller species who had been bullied by the Council started reaching out to Earth. Secret messages asking for protection, for alliance, for the chance to be treated as equals. Vrex sat in his chamber and watched the reports. His hands shook as he read them. The Council was falling apart. Species were leaving. Governments were collapsing. And it was all because they had laughed at Earth. He had been so sure humanity was weak, so certain they would never dare to leave, so confident in the Council's superiority. He had been wrong about everything. On Earth, Hana met with her advisors. "We've proven our point. We've shown them we're not helpless. What now?" "Now," said Counselor Nari, "we decide what kind of galaxy we want to live in. Do we isolate ourselves, or do we build something better?" Hana looked at the messages flooding in from across the galaxy. Requests for help, for alliance, for leadership. "We didn't fight for isolation," she said quietly. "We fought for dignity. Maybe it's time to show them what a galaxy based on respect looks like." Taeyang nodded. "But on our terms this time." No more probation. No more restrictions. Full partnership or nothing. Agreed, Hana said. Send out the invitations. Any species that wants to talk about a new alliance is welcome, but they come to Earth, and they come as equals. The galaxy was changing. The old order had fallen, and from its ashes something new was being born. 6 months had passed since the severing. The galaxy looked completely different now. The old Galactic Council still existed, technically, but it was a shadow of what it had been. Only 73 species remained members. The rest had left to join something new. Ambassador Hana Lee stood in a conference room on Earth and looked at the representatives gathered before her. Diplomats from 147 different species. Some were familiar faces from the old council. Others were from smaller species who had never been allowed into the inner circle before. "Thank you all for coming," Hana said simply. 6 months ago, Earth walked away from a system that refused to treat us with respect. Today, we're here to build something better. A reptilian diplomat raised his hand. "What guarantees do we have that Earth won't simply replace the old council's tyranny with your own?" It was a fair question. Hana nodded. "None. You have no guarantees except our word and our actions, but let me be clear about what we're proposing. Earth doesn't want to rule the galaxy. We want to be part of a galaxy where no one rules everyone else." She pulled up a holographic document. "This is the Commonwealth Charter. Every species that signs it gets an equal vote. One species, one vote. Doesn't matter if you have 1,000 worlds or just one. Doesn't matter if you've been spacefaring for 1,000,000 years or just discovered FTL last week." President Minji Ro stepped forward. She was Earth's civilian leader, elected by popular vote. Unlike the old council's hereditary rulers and lifetime appointees, she served at the pleasure of her people. "I know you're afraid," Minji said, her voice gentle but firm. "You're afraid we'll become what they were. That we'll use our military power to control you. That this is just a different kind of cage." She looked around the room. "Let me tell you what Earth learned. We learned what it feels like to be looked down on, to be called primitives and children, to have our voices ignored. We will never do that to others, not because we're saints, but because we know exactly how much it hurts." Director Yuna Park spoke next. "The Commonwealth has simple rules. No species is superior to another. Trade must be fair. Technology is shared, not hoarded. Military alliances are defensive only. Every member has veto power over major decisions." A small, furry alien in the back spoke up. "What about species that can't defend themselves? The old council promised protection, even if they charged too much for it." "Protection is still available," said Fleet Admiral Taeyang Kim. "But it's not a protection racket. The Ghost Fleet will defend any Commonwealth member from external threats, free of charge. All we ask is that you don't start wars you expect us to finish." The discussions went on for 3 days. Questions about trade, about borders, about disputes between species, about who would enforce the rules. The answer to that last question surprised many of them. "We all enforce the rules," Hana explained. "The Commonwealth Court has judges from 20 different species. The peacekeeping force draws volunteers from every member world. Earth has the largest military, yes, but we don't control it alone. Command rotates between species every year." It wasn't perfect. Some species wanted Earth to have more control, not less. Others worried it wasn't enough. But slowly, a consensus formed. On the final day, Captain Jinwoo Han stood before the assembled delegates. "Before you sign, you should know what you're getting into. The old council is angry. Some of them are talking about war. If you join us, they might target you too." An insectoid delegate clicked his mandibles in what might have been a laugh. "Let them try. They couldn't beat Earth. They certainly can't beat all of us together." The signing ceremony took 6 hours. 147 species, each adding their mark to the Commonwealth Charter. Some signed in ink, others in light. A few used methods that humans didn't fully understand. But they all signed. The Commonwealth of Free Worlds was born. Councillor Vrex watched the ceremony from his empty council chamber. Only 40 species had showed up for the old council's emergency session, less than a quarter of what they used to have. He had spent 6 months thinking about what happened, about the moment he laughed at Earth's request, about how sure he had been that humanity was weak. He sent a message to Earth, a simple request for a private meeting. To his surprise, they agreed. Jinwoo met him in a neutral space station. Just the two of them in a small room. No guards, no weapons, just two people talking. "I was wrong," Vrex said. It was hard to say. He had never apologized to anyone in his long life. "I didn't see you. I saw what I expected to see. Primitives, children. I was blind." Jinwoo sat across from him and said nothing for a long moment. Then he spoke. "You know what the worst part was? We would have been loyal. If you had just treated us with basic respect, Earth would have been the Council's strongest supporter. We believed in the idea of galactic unity." "And now?" Vrex asked. "Now we still believe in it, but not your version, not a version where some species matter more than others." Vrex nodded slowly. "The old council is dying, I know that. What do you want from me?" "I want you to learn," Jinwoo said. "Learn to see clearly. Learn to treat others as equals. And if you can do that, maybe the Commonwealth has a place for you too." It wasn't forgiveness. Not exactly. But it was a chance. Vrex left that meeting with much to think about. Across the galaxy, change rippled outward. The Commonwealth grew quickly. New members joined every week. Trade routes that had been controlled by the old council became open to everyone. Technology that had been hoarded started spreading. Young colonist Seok Hwang stood on the surface of a world that didn't even have a name yet. It was beyond the old council's borders. Free territory. His family had been among the first to claim land here. He pushed his hands into the alien soil and felt it between his fingers. This was humanity's future. Not begging for scraps, not asking permission, just growing and exploring and building. His communicator buzzed. It was his sister back on Earth. "How is it?" she asked. "Perfect," Seok replied. "You should see the sunset. 3 moons and a ring system. It's beautiful." "Are you scared, being so far from home?" Seok thought about it. "No, because home isn't just Earth anymore. It's everywhere humans are, everywhere Commonwealth members are. We're not alone out here." On Luna, construction began on the Wall of Remembrance, a memorial to honor everyone who had made the Commonwealth possible. The names of Ghost Fleet crews who lived in secret for decades. The names of scientists who worked in hidden labs. The names of diplomats who smiled and nodded while planning humanity's freedom. Thousands of names. Tens of thousands. All people who had sacrificed so that Earth could stand as an equal. The dedication ceremony was simple. No grand speeches, no celebrations, just quiet respect. Ambassador Hana stood before the wall and read some of the names aloud. People she had known. Friends who had died before seeing this day. Strangers who had given everything. President Minji spoke to the gathered crowd. "They mocked Earth at the council. They saw weakness where there was strength. They saw dependence where there was preparation. They saw primitives where there were pioneers." She paused and looked up at the stars visible through the dome. "We didn't end every pact for revenge. We ended them for dignity. And from the ashes of the old order, we built something better." Fleet Admiral Taeyang added quietly, "They wanted to keep us small. We showed them infinity." In the months that followed, the Commonwealth proved itself. When a plague broke out on a member world, Commonwealth medical ships arrived within days. When pirates threatened trade routes, the peacekeeping force responded. When two species had a border dispute, Commonwealth judges mediated fairly. It wasn't perfect. There were still arguments and disagreements. Some species tried to gain more power than others. Some trade deals went bad. Some diplomatic missions failed. But it was better. Measurably, obviously better than what came before. The old council held on for another year before finally dissolving. Some of its member species joined the Commonwealth. Others stayed isolated. A few tried to form their own alliance, but it never gained traction. Vrex eventually joined the Commonwealth, not as a counselor, not as a leader, just as a representative of his species, with the same vote as everyone else. He never forgot the lesson Earth taught him. 5 years after the severing, Hana retired from diplomatic service. She had done what she set out to do. Earth was respected. The galaxy was better. It was time for younger voices to lead. On her last day, Jinwoo found her in her office, packing her things. "Any regrets?" he asked. Hana thought about it. About the 50 years of humiliation, about the moment the council laughed, about everything that came after. "Only one," she said. "I wish we hadn't waited so long. We could have done this 30 years earlier." "Maybe," Jinwoo agreed. "But maybe we needed those 50 years to build, to prepare, to make sure that when we finally stood up, we stood up right." Hana smiled. "Maybe you're right." She looked out the window at Earth below, at the ships coming and going, at the station where Commonwealth delegates from 100 worlds worked together, at the future humanity had built. "They mocked us," she said softly, "and we showed them what happens when you underestimate people who have nothing left to lose." "More than that," Jinwoo replied. "We showed them what happens when you give people something worth fighting for. Not revenge, not conquest. Just the simple right to be treated as equals." Hana picked up the last box from her desk. Inside was a recording of that day in the council chamber. The day they laughed. She had kept it all these years as a reminder. She deleted it. "I don't need to remember that anymore," she said. "I'd rather remember what came after." The galaxy moved forward. The Commonwealth grew stronger. New species joined. New worlds were settled. New technologies were shared. And Earth, once mocked and dismissed, became known for something else entirely. The species that had faced humiliation with patience. The species that had prepared in silence. The species that had shown strength without cruelty. The species that had built something better. Humanity had proven itself, not through conquest or dominance, but through dignity, preparation, and the courage to walk away from injustice. They had mocked Earth at the council, but Earth had the last word, and that word was freedom.